Netflix reported $10.4 billion in operating profit in 2024, and the fastest-growing slice of that number has nothing to do with your monthly subscription. So what exactly is Netflix selling that most people never even consider? For over a decade, Netflix stated it would never run advertisements. Reed Hastings described ads as antithetical to the brand. Then, in 2022, Netflix introduced ads, and advertising has since become a significant and fast-growing part of their business. This is Moat and Margin, where we break down the business stories worth actually understanding. Netflix generated $33.7 billion in total revenue across fiscal year 2024. The core engine is straightforward. 260 million households pay between $7 and $23 a month, depending on their tier. That's roughly $11.50 per subscriber per month on average globally. But here's where it gets interesting. Netflix doesn't just sell access to content. Every time you press play, pause, rewind, or abandon a show after several minutes, Netflix is collecting data. And that data has become the foundation of an increasingly important part of their business. The bet sounds brilliant in hindsight, but in 2022, Netflix was in genuine trouble. They lost subscribers for the first time in a decade. The stock dropped significantly in 6 months. Analysts were questioning the viability of the streaming model entirely. So, Netflix did something the old Netflix would have considered heresy. They launched a cheaper tier with advertisements, $7 a month. And the advertising industry, which had been interested in Netflix for years, finally got what it wanted. But here's what most people overlook entirely. The ad tier wasn't just a discount, it was a strategic move. Netflix wasn't just selling cheaper subscriptions, they were building a two-sided marketplace where the subscriber is also the product. The first move was building a... That premium pricing means Netflix's ad revenue per user is higher than many competitors. And here's the part that makes this a genuine moat. Netflix controls the entire environment. They own the content, the interface, the recommendation engine, and the viewer data. No middleman, no ad exchange taking a cut. In November 2024, Netflix launched its own proprietary ad technology platform, replacing Microsoft as their ad-serving partner. This decision means Netflix now keeps the entire advertising margin in-house. If you're building a platform business, this is the move. Own the infrastructure before you need the revenue, because switching costs compound faster than partnerships ever could. The second move was even bolder. Netflix started hosting live events. The Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight in November 2024 reportedly drew a large audience. The 2 NFL Christmas Day games averaged 26 million viewers each, according to Nielsen ratings. These aren't just content experiments, they're advertising inventory opportunities. Live events address Netflix's biggest advertising challenge: scarcity. Pre-recorded shows can be paused, skipped, or binged at any time. Live events happen once. Advertisers will pay premiums for guaranteed, simultaneous attention at massive scale. But here's the tension hiding underneath. Netflix is navigating a shift in its own identity. For 20 years, the brand promise was simple: pay once, watch everything, no interruptions. Now they're asking subscribers to accept ads, live sports, and games. Every addition risks diluting the thing that made Netflix dominant in the first place. The third move reveals why that risk might be calculated rather than reckless. Netflix built a pricing architecture that turns every subscriber into a revenue optimization problem. There are now several tiers in most markets: ad-supported at $7, standard at $15.50, and premium at $23. Each tier is designed to match different customer segments' willingness to pay. And here's what's notable about the structure. The ad-tier subscriber, who pays $7 a month, may actually generate more total revenue than the $15.50 standard subscriber, because Netflix collects both the subscription fee and the advertising revenue on top. Morgan Stanley estimated that ad-tier ARPU could reach $17 per month once the ad load matures. So Netflix turned its lowest-priced customers into some of its most profitable ones. That's not just a pricing strategy, it's a business model shift. And it means every subscriber who downgrades from premium to the ad tier isn't necessarily a loss. They're potentially an upgrade in disguise. But here's what nearly derailed the entire strategy. In 2023, Netflix launched its password-sharing crackdown. The company estimated over 100 million households were watching without paying. The crackdown was intended to convert non-paying viewers into subscribers. Initially, the first quarter saw a wave of cancellations across Latin America and parts of Europe. Social media reaction was immediate and critical. For several months, it appeared Netflix had made a significant miscalculation. Subscriber growth stalled. The narrative in the press was that Netflix had alienated its own user base. Internally, the pressure was enormous. This was the same company that had just seen a major stock decline the year before. Here's what changed everything. The password crackdown didn't just convert non-paying viewers into paid subscribers, it funneled many of them directly into the ad-supported tier. The cheapest option became the path of least resistance. By Q4 2024, Netflix had added over 13 million net new subscribers in a single year, and a significant share landed on the tier that generates dual revenue streams. The operating margin tells the full story. In fiscal year 2024, Netflix reported a 30.9% operating margin, up from 21% the year before. That translates to roughly $10.4 billion in Netflix reported a 30.9% operating margin, up from 21% the year before. That translates to roughly $10.4 billion in operating income. For context, Disney's direct-to-consumer segment only just turned profitable for the first time that same year. If you're building a subscription business, study Netflix's tier architecture, because the cheapest tier can be your most profitable when you factor in secondary revenue streams. The customer who pays least in subscription fees may deliver the most total lifetime value. If you're running a platform with user data, build your own ad technology before licensing someone else's, because every dollar flowing through a partner's system is a dollar of margin you'll never recapture once the switching costs compound. And if you're facing a crisis that forces you to break a brand promise, design the alternative so the thing your customers